No, do not buy it. Leave it there. Even if it's free, if then I'm just going to say no and I'm going to pass it on again. I love it as it is. So, if you ever see me, do not let me buy more things like this, please. Drag me away. Do not let me buy them. Thank you. Please don't buy anything new for your sewing room or your sewing stash until you've heard my story, because we all get the buzz, don't we? You know, when we buy something new, we see something, we know we can make something beautiful out of it. Brilliant. I think we all get that feeling, but if we're not careful, things do start to pile up, and the less time and room we actually have to sew, don't we? You might just be thinking, actually, it makes sense not to spend as much this year, or you might just be thinking, hey, I'm going to use what I have. Thing is, I've made a list of things I'm going to buy, but that's only going to work if I also have a list of things that I'm not going to buy. So I have a list of 10 things I'm not going to buy this year, and I'll tell you why I'm not buying them. First on my hit list is things that don't feel nice. I mean, you know, I have plenty that do feel nice. So what happens is, if I come across something like this, now I've actually kept this. This was a dress that I wore loads and loads and loads. You can see what it looked like there. I really liked it. Eventually it went home and I could only salvage this little bit. So that's fine, that's not a problem. The thing is, I kept the rest of the dress for a long time before I realised it's synthetic. It's not great. I don't know what it is, maybe a rayon or something. Anyway, it doesn't behave that nicely. Look, I can't sort of tear it very nicely. So what I'm going to do is not buy anything that I mean, I love the colour of it. I love the look of it. Actually, as a dress, it was fine. You know, it just washed and dried brilliantly. And it was second hand to me anyway. But this is the piece now that I'm going to keep. So I've cut this out of the actual dress. And to me, it might not seem like it, but that's actually quite a big thing. I'm not going to buy anything that doesn't feel nice to me now. Even if it's free. If somebody gives me something, I don't like the feel of it, then I'm just going to say no and I'm going to pass it on again, because these things don't get used. All right, so later on I'm going to take that off there. That's the only piece that I'm going to keep. But remember, when you buy things, I always feel things for, my husband laughs at me, I touch things quite a lot before I buy them. Has to be right, doesn't it? That's number one. Number two is colours that I love but just aren't me. Now this was a dress. I loved it. I mean, it's like it's summer in my hands, isn't it? It's just beautiful, but it's not me. I know, it's weird. So I made this into a little case, look, the most basic thing, and I keep it in a drawer, and I do, you know, when I come across it, it makes me smile, but it's not something, it's not a colour I can sort of live with, you know? It's just that the yellow is just too bright, so I don't like to have it in my room. I don't like to wear it. I really, well, I don't know what is my colour, but it's certainly not that. So my way of not buying this, I bought something slightly different recently. Well, to me it's different anyway. You might think it looks exactly the same. Well, you won't if you're a sewer. You see the difference? This one is just bright. It's not gaudy, it's just too bright for me. This one, however, not only is it much more of a sort of a, you know, pared back colour, also the other colours with it that just help it a lot. This is actually a pair of curtains. I won't use as curtains. It does have a little hole in it. I thought I saw, yes, has a little hole there, but that doesn't bother me at all, look. So I'm sure that I will use these for cushions, or maybe even just to put across the settee or bed or something at one point, I don't know. Or, you know, quite often as tablecloths and that sort of thing. But that, compared to that, you see, if my husband saw these, he'd say they're the same. But you know where I'm coming from, don't you? You can see just how vastly different they are. So I'm going to stick to my guns, not buy anything more that's yellow or orange, because I find them so hard to use, but I'm definitely not going to buy. If I fall in love with something, there's nothing wrong with falling in love with it. Say that I love it, but then leave it there. Doesn't all have to come home with me. And that's not an easy lesson for me to learn. Okay. So number 3 then on my hit list, hopeless causes. There are some tiny things. This was a scarf once, all right? I'll hold it here for a minute. And I think it had some holes in it, but there was nothing wrong with it, except I knew other people wouldn't use it, okay? So I eventually just tore it into strips, It didn't tear that nicely, to be honest. I think I probably had to cut it and then fray it a little bit. But the thing is, I'm now left with loads of these long strips. Now, what am I going to do with them? I don't know. I have no reason. I mean, I think I probably thought, oh yeah, I'll tie presents up with them or whatever. But I don't, because I don't actually like it. But that didn't stop me buying it because I felt sorry for it. It didn't stop me spending time cutting it up because I wanted it to be used for something. Now, I mean, I'm going to, end up giving that to the scrap store, and they may well use that. They might not. But why did I keep it for years? Why did I buy it in the first place, keep it, spend time putting it into strips? I don't actually like it. It's just because I felt sorry for it, and I've got to stop that. That is a really dangerous habit. I bet you've done that as well, haven't you? Okay, so that's that one. Number 4 is things that look nice, but I won't use. Okay, so this lace here, if you can see it, there's nothing wrong with it. It's quite pretty, but it has a little sheen on it. So I'm not going to use that. So why have I kept it? Look, it's still its original sort of wrapper there. Why have I kept it all this time? Because this is the sort of thing that I will always go for. So why, knowing this, why am I buying these as well? This is newer. It's, lots of people would love it, and that's fine. So I just need to pass it on, don't I, to let some of those people use it, because that I won't use. That I will. This looks pretty in a little bundle. It's all tied up, look. It was probably in with lots of other things. Looked really nice. No, do not buy it, Dawn. You're not using it. If you haven't used it up till now, what makes you think you will in future? Just let it go. Don't buy it. Leave it there. Okay, practical pieces. I made a little bowl that I can't find. Don't know where it is. No, don't know where it is. I know it made a little bowl. You know, you make rope out of fabric, don't you? So I made it with a grey fitted sheet, and I had to take the, elastic out of the sheet and, all that sort of thing. Put it into strips, made this little bowl, loved it. I still have that sheet somewhere. So why have I bought 2 more and done exactly the same? So I've bought these. I've taken the elastic out. I've taken any bits off that aren't usable, washed them all up, dried them. I mean, it's the middle of winter. It isn't even easy to wash and dry things at the minute. Why have I bought 2 more exactly the same as the one that I already have, which I've not used up yet? That one has plenty in it. I can make lots of strips, do lots of bowls. Why have I bought 2 more? Because I looked at that and thought, that'll be nice. Yes, it will, but I already have it. Don't buy it. Don't go there, Dawn. Now, how many of you are guilty of this? I really don't think I'm alone. Look at that beautiful cover. I love it. Might be backwards on the on the camera, I'm not sure, sorry. Outline of English history. It's lovely. I like how worn it is. I like the edges of the pages being discoloured. I like the actual pages themselves. There are some illustrations and it's really nice. I bought it so that I could tear it apart and make a journal out of it. Get it home, you start reading it. It says BC 55 to AD 1902. How is that not going to be interesting? You open it up, you start reading it. Even, look, somebody has put some little annotations and things of their own. It's lovely. So what made me think that I was going to pull that apart? Was it just an excuse to buy it? I don't know, but I have a lot of these now. And I love them all. I really do. Here's one that's in a much worse state. But some of you will just think this is revolting. Others will love it. I know, it's a love or hate thing, I reckon. But look, it has a little key. 2 little keys, actually. You open it up and it falls apart, basically. Now, obviously, this had other things stuck to the front. I don't know if it had a leather front. I don't know. Look at it. It's falling apart. Little receipt in there. It's a little ledger. How gorgeous is that? Plymouth Coffee House Company, it says. But it looks like a little ledger of, I don't know what it was that, insurance it looks like. And some of it's, right, that's 1894, that one says on it. 1888. and it goes back a little. Look, this is what happens when it's not done up properly. I bought it because of the lock. I thought I'd make use of that on you know, a paper journal or a stitch journal, whatever. I thought the actual lock of itself of the thing was lovely. I'm not going to take that apart. I love it as it is. So no more, Dawn, no more. If you ever see me wherever, it doesn't matter if it's an antiques place or if it's a car boot or, you know, flea market, whatever, do not let me buy more things like this, please. So tools. How many different kinds of tools do you have for sewing? I mean, by the time you have all your, you know, the bits for sort of cutting, for stitching, for, you know, hand stitching, for sewing, for your machines, and then you might have, you know, things for other things for cutting, you know, like the, what are they called? You know, the kind of presses and things like that. Lots and lots and lots, aren't there? And then you have normal scissors, pinking shears. Well, one of the lovely viewers the other day mentioned to me that she has a bit of a thing for scissors. She told me she counted them up and she has 40 pairs of scissors. 40. Sounds like a lot, doesn't it? That sounds like a bit of an obsession. So I've just been around and I started collecting up all my scissors because I think it's a good exercise to do, because then when I can see how many I have, I can just take off, you know, 2 pairs of pinking shears, 2 pairs of whatever. Now, obviously, they're not all for sewing. Some of them, that one I've actually written paper on. So that's fine. So that means there's going to be another one in here then for sewing. But then I also have another pair that say paper. And another pair that say sewing. So that's 4, just very quickly, of pinking shears. I think I counted up here that I had, oh gosh, was it about 20 or something? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Okay, well that's 30. And that doesn't include sort of, you know, the pretty ones, the decorative ones and things like that. So I do think I might have to say no to another pair of scissors. Unless they're really pretty, obviously, in which case, you know, everything is all bets avoid kind of thing. But look, I mean, these aren't even, oh right, I've put these in here. They're not scissors, look. They're just those funny things to pull things through. But I know I have at least 3 or 4 of these. So I need to collect those up as well. I'm sure one of the people that tells you how to sort out your life, I'm sure they would tell you to gather all things up and then put them in little piles, you know, the same as t-shirts. Put them all in little piles and see what you have. That's definitely a job for me. So again, if you see me buying any scissors, drag me away. Do not let me buy them. Thank you. Okay, so number 8 now then is I have a 3-in-1 rule that I try and stick to. Don't always, but I've written it down again because it's something that I need to have it in my head. If you pick something up, there's something about it you don't like, don't pick it up. Don't take it home, rather. Okay, so this lace, I like the pattern of it, didn't I? And I like the colour of it, but I didn't like the feel of it. That's 1 in 3. Can't come home with me. This one here, I don't actually like the feel of it or the colour. So regardless of how forlorn it was and, you know, how much it was calling me to take it home, I should have left it there, shouldn't I? Because I liked one thing about it, the fact that I'd be recycling it, but I didn't like other things about it, and that includes the colour and the feel. Should never have come home with me. Again, love the feel, love the pattern, love the fact that it was reusing, you know, an old skirt. Don't like the colour, or can't live with the colour anyway. Why did it come home with me? This bit of fabric is a new piece. I kind of liked the colour. I kind of didn't like the texture on it because, or the surface of it, because it had like a, not a satin look to it, but it was just slightly, it had a slight sheen to it, you know. Now I've actually spent a long time trying to rough this up and to age it, so it's gone through the machine loads of times. I've used some sandpaper on it. I've done lots and lots of things to it, and I'm not too disappointed in this little piece because it shows me that, you know, that's okay. This is where I was trying to get. These are some pieces that I have that I love, and I was trying to get it more like that. You can it's still much brighter, isn't it? I think it actually might look brighter on camera than it really is. But the thing is, it doesn't have this kind of raspberry tone to it. But I'm going to keep going with it but I don't need any more. I didn't like the feel of it, the actual surface texture of it. I should have left it there. Why didn't I? Next one, number 9, is one that I can't really show you anything for a minute because I've been a really good girl recently and I have sorted out my room. This is the room after it's sorted. I know it looks pretty full to a lot of you, but this is how I like it. But I try not to buy anything new unless I've exhausted secondhand first. It doesn't always work. I mean, like a pair of scissors. Well, I've tried sharpening scissors several times and I'm not very successful at it. So those I will buy new when I, control my hoarding nature for scissors. Anyway, I'm not going to buy those old anymore. There are a couple of other things that I've bought secondhand that don't really work for me anymore. Where the glue, maybe it's something that's glued, like a book or something, and the glue perishes over time, that sort of thing. But I'm going to stick to what I know, which is most of the time I will have a look to see if I can find something secondhand. So that's from, storage or whatever to anything that I'm going to use or wear or have in my house, really. But it's a really good one to stick by, I think. See if you can get it secondhand first. If you can't, don't feel guilty in getting it new. My last proper one is this will be number 10, I think. Anything that's plastic. I try not to buy plastic, or it's certainly I try not to buy anything that's new plastic that's single use. I really try hard with that. But there are times, obviously, when that is the best thing, if it needs to be wiped or whatever. But I'm going to try and stick to that again. But the reason I'm putting that on my list is, although I'm not attracted to that sort of thing, I still sometimes I'll buy something in a plastic box, if it's secondhand or whatever. I need to be able to get rid of that, because actually if I don't do that, then I'm just undoing all the work that I went through recently to try and get rid of the plastic from my room here. I try not to live with too much plastic, and that's from food to sewing to just generally around the house. And I have a little here, it's not a lot anymore, so if I don't stick to that, then I'm going to regret it. And the reason I bring that up is because I need to remember it. So that's my number 10. But while I was saying that, I actually thought of something, a little extra one actually. The reason I thought of it is because I could see it. So this is my little basket. Oh dear, the things are falling out already. My little basket of whites. Now in here you'll see I have cloths. That looks like one of those armchair ones. Well, it's got a name, isn't it? I can't remember what it is. Those little funny things that you put over arms on settees. That looks like it's a similar thing. A small, now this one's lovely. See the edging on that? Isn't it gorgeous? That one, why have I got that? Oh, I love that, the edging, and it also has one of those little tags on it, which I love. I even have this, this case here, which is a cushion cover. It's full of things as well. So I have lots and lots of bits. I love them all. All right, things keep dropping out of it as I'm talking to you. I love them all, but I might have to admit that I don't actually need any more of these. If I can get halfway through this basket, look, halfway through the year, then well, fine. I think then I can start looking for more. But until then, yeah, I think I ought to steer clear of these. So I hope that might be just a little helpful for you, because hopefully it'll just get you thinking about what you already have. I know a lot of people struggle with buying duplicates, because they say if they put something away, if they stored it away just in a drawer or whatever, if they don't see it, they don't remember they have it, and they buy it again. So this wasn't meant to make me or anybody else feel guilty about what we have, just if we're going to reduce what we're buying, then this is a really good place to start, isn't it? These were my 10 things I'm not going to buy. I'm already working on my other list, which is of things that I am going to buy. I'm halfway through that one. I've got a good 5 or 6 things that I know I want to look out for. I'm going to carry on working on that one, and then I'll share that with you when we're done. All right. Happy sewing. In the meantime, if you feel like you might be missing out on something by not buying new things, then just take a look at my haul video, or if it makes me feel bad, then have a look at one of my others, just where I've done a bit of slow stitching, my needle cases and things like that, where I'm trying to use up a few of my little bits. Alright, see you next time.